Welcome to Try Business Magazine. I've got the pleasure of having the CEO and founder of Bathu Shoes in studio today. I'm Evans Manyonga, the publishing editor of Try Business Magazine. Today, we're going to be speaking about innovation, shoes, vision, and business. Theo, what a pleasure to have you in studio.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah. Um, I like your shoes, by the way.
Thank
They
you.
look really, really, really good. Is that Bathu? So
Yeah.
what we're talking about today.
100%.
Okay. Can you tell me a bit about your shoe? Just a little bit. Any info?
Yeah. So we are a proudly South African sneaker business. Started 5 years ago from humble beginnings, basically, in a room in Alexandra with a vision to build a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with. And right at the core of our mission, we want to reignite hope and create sustainable jobs. And then, yeah, that's the business. We are literally bootstrapped all my savings. I'm an accountant by profession. Bootstrapped everything else that I had at the time, that I had saved at the time to start the business. And 5 years later, we are a business that has about 30 brick and mortar stores nationwide and employs about 300 people.
Okay, fantastic. So let's talk about Bathu now. Bathu is an African created brand created by yourself.
Yeah.
And African for Africans. Can you tell us the vision behind, the story behind this beautiful product creation?
Yeah, so like you've mentioned, we are a proudly African sneaker business, and our vision says that we want to build a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with. We started in humble beginnings in a small room in Alexandra Township. I started the business. I'm an accountant by profession, so I used to wear a lot of sneakers at the time. And, I spent so much money on buying a lot of sneakers. But out of my collection at the time, I realized that we're missing, a footwear brand that Africans can proudly resonate with. And right at the core of our mission, we want to reignite hope and create sustainable jobs. And 5 years later, we are the business that we are today with about 30 brick and mortar stores and employ about 300 people in our business, and we've built a business that a lot of people resonates with and achieved quite great milestones over the last 5 years.
Fantastic. And, technology and innovation are now serious drivers of products and services.
Sure.
So in a business like yours, how have you harnessed innovation and technology to ensure you are a cut above the rest?
So what we do in our business is that we actually engage a lot with our consumers. We are customer centric in a sense that we really listen to where our customers are coming from, what are the challenges, and how can we actually, number one, add value into their day-to-day lives, and how can we make sure that we are a business that really caters for I think a huge variety in terms of our clientele, So we are basically a footwear brand, that sells cool factor more than anything else, if I put it like that. And we're not a shoe business that is selling shoes that we're not selling to a person who's in need of shoes. We're selling to a consumer who's got a sense of style. They've got a party to go to, they've got a lunch to go to, and we need to make sure that we add into that cool factor. And then we do it in an innovative manner, by the sneaker technology that goes into our product development, the silhouette that goes into our product development, into our products as well. And we make sure that we really speak to our consumer, from what is the latest trends in terms of footwear, what is, the latest trends in terms of apparel, and how do they actually take that innovation from Bathu and make it compatible to their day-to-day living and day-to-day outfits, So we try to really be consumer-centric in a sense of understanding trends and where our consumer is going, and we try to meet them halfway.
Fantastic. A lot of African-created brands don't seem to always get as much mileage as international brands. So how have you managed, because Bathu is doing very well, it's on everyone's lips, how have you managed to put Bathu to the level it is today? Because it seems like with the way things are going, it's going challenging the big international brands at the moment.
If you look at our mission, our entire mission as a business, we want to reignite hope and create sustainable jobs. It's not a mission that is communicated for PR purposes. It's a mission that each and everyone in our business lives it. And we go back to our consumers who have been supporting us over the last 5 years and show show how we have managed to achieve that mission. The communities that we trade in, we go back and try to give back to the community and create impact and create value in those communities. I mean, you look at our CSI program, the Bathu for Bathu Care project, which speaks about, which the aim and the purpose is to donate about 1 million school shoes, 1 million pairs of school shoes, complementary, to the communities that we trade in, to walk the journey with our future leaders. That's one of the things that we try to do with our consumers in the communities, that when you're buying Bathu, you're not just buying a pair of sneakers because it's cool or because it's designed nice or the product offering is nice, but you're buying into a business that contributes to the economy, a business that creates value in the economy, a business that creates impact in the economy, the jobs that we create in the economy. And we also try to tell the success within our business, with our people, and show how our people are growing. And it's all through the support of our people. Oftentimes, brands don't really do that. They take profits and they do nothing for communities, or they do nothing for the people that the people that work for the business, the people that support the business. We are, doing things differently. We grow, but then we go back and show impact in different ways.
Fantastic. And speaking about unemployment and employment, it's a big headache in SA at the moment. So can you just give us the numbers in terms of how many people are employed by Bathu and how many stores you have? I know you just recently opened a store as well.
Yeah.
So maybe just a bit of a mention of that.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at our story from Theo Baloyi just being an accountant in Dubai, doing very well and in that sphere and in that sector, in the Middle East, accounting, doing consulting, I just decided to really quit my job, and to come back home, to start a business that can reignite hope and create sustainable jobs. And a few years later now, we employ about 300 people and counting. I think now we're 200 plus and counting. And we've got about 30 brick and mortar stores, in that business. And I often say this, that I have actually quit one job that provided for me and my family and started a business that employs about 300 more people.
That is good. But my question with that, is sometimes when people talk about unemployment, they like talking about it from the comfort of their homes, but they don't go out and, action things. So sticking to the same subject, really, what made you get into entrepreneurship? We all know entrepreneurship is not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Sure.
You need to be strong, you need to be resilient, you need to be persistent. So can you give us a bit of info on how you made that transition from being an employee who was doing well internationally and then to coming back home and saying, I'm starting a business from scratch? Yeah,
I think for me, I always say this, the entrepreneurial bug, I was quite fortunate because the entrepreneurial bug beat me at quite a young age. When I was doing my undergrad, become accounting sciences, I used to sell perfumes, door to door in the streets of Alexander Township. And then from then I knew for sure that this is what I want to do for a living, mainly because of it gave me a platform to really harness my skills, to learn, to connect with people. I love connecting with people. I love really seeing whether in irrespective of the magnitude of the value, but that contribution into people's lives, in direct or indirect. And I think from then I knew that I want to be in entrepreneurship. But again, I had this passion and desire to further my studies and to equip myself with the right skills and the right skill set. And accounting for me was that I think a fraternity that is going to give me the business skills and the knowledge and the corporate experience. So I really, really also enjoyed that because it also speaks to what I do now, which is business. So even when I was in corporate, and I was getting all of the skills, technical and soft skills in my industry, in my career, I knew deep down that I want to get into entrepreneurship. So I got to a point in my career at PwC where I was exposed to so much, and I thought about if I can take this and be able to be of service to my community. That really encouraged me, that purpose to really quit and go and share the experience that I've got into building something more meaningful and more impactful for my community.
Which is fantastic. And still sticking to entrepreneurship, what are your key principles, or at least some of your key principles as an entrepreneur? What do you say, without this, I can't function as an entrepreneur to myself, in principle? I
think, number one, I can't function without purpose. without being of service. So everything else that I do, it has to be of service to our business, of service to our people, of service to our consumers. So if it's of no service and it's only benefiting myself, or it's only benefiting an individual, or it's only benefiting a profit, or whatever the case might be, for me it's more out of principle. So I do everything else with purpose and with the intention to be of service. It needs to make sense to me. And I think one of the things that really drives those kind of decision making, it's having integrity in business. I do things out of integrity. Everything else has to be with integrity and with the right intentions. For me, those are the key principal drivers. It has to have purpose, and they need to be integrity in it.
Fantastic. I like that word, integrity, because I think that's some of the problems we're experiencing as a country and as a continent stem from that word, where there is a lack of integrity in certain behaviors and the way we conduct ourselves. So that's very, very important. What do you feel sets Bathu apart from the rest? We know there are a few local brands that are pushing to break that ceiling. So what do you feel sets Bathu apart from all those?
I think for us, one of the things that we do is that one thing that will forever set us apart is, we've been, I could say this, from where we started with our vision. When I did about 18 months of research and development, I did about, there's about 7 continents in the world. And at the time when I was doing research, I couldn't find one single sneaker brand that comes from Africa, So we decided to take that lead and build that brand. And it's quite humbling to see other brands coming onto the industry and doing their thing as well, because it really speaks to the vision that we had. We couldn't find any. Now there's a whole lot more that are coming up, right? But one thing that really sets us apart is our brand promise and how we communicate it. We are very clear about getting onto a journey and walking it with our consumers, and making sure that our consumers walk their journey with pride and they own up to it. And we do that even in our product. We build products that really help our clients to walk their journey in pride, and we make sure that we communicate our brand promise, from product to the value chain, to our infrastructure, to our value chain, and everything else, in all aspects and all components of the value chain entirely, from product to the infrastructure that we've built. We leave our brand promise around walking your journey. And I think that thing really sets us apart. We're not just a brand that speaks only in the counter when we sell you a shoe, but we really communicate our brand promise in many ways. You can even take it further to CSI, how we walk the journey with our future leaders, our future consumers, how we walk our journey with the communities. And I think that really sets us apart. We're not about the counter and selling products, but we are about impacting change and making sure that, we're sending a positive message to communities at large and to the world at large.
Fantastic. Yeah. At Tribe, modern leadership is one of our key themes. What are your thoughts on modern leadership? What do you feel the modern leader today needs to thrive in this world? I had a conversation recently with a very well accomplished business executive. And he told me that he felt for him to succeed today, he had to operate more like a small business owner. Even as he was running a big corporate company. So what do you think works for modern leaders today? And what are the principles you need as a modern leader? What do you feel needs to happen for you to be successful?
I think, like I said, for me, you also mentioned it. There's a lot of, we live in a world that is socially current. People chase social currency more than anything else. People want to trend for their own reasons. But oftentimes when you look at socials, people are saying so many things, but like you said, sitting in their bedrooms, and doing nothing, So I think modern leadership is that irrespective of what you get into, what industry you're in, you need to ask yourself, how am I being of service? Because at the end of the day, it's about that. Excellence, I always say this, excellence and genius comes through a form of service. And once you can find out what is your form of service, in pursuit of your dreams, in pursuit of your vision, in pursuit of growing your business, you need to ask yourself, how am I being of service to other people that work for my business? How am I being of service to my consumers? How am I being of service to the community at large or the communities that I trade in, you know? And I think that's where modern leadership should come in, because that's where excellence comes in. That's where sustainability comes in, you know, and forget about the social currency. And as much as, yes, we live in an era where we need to do business in socials and technology is taking over, but you never lose touch with your sense of service or a sense of purpose, and how are you being of service to the next person.
Fantastic. You know, Theo, you are an African child, as I am an African child. So I'm very proud to see, us as Africans trying to push, into the future and trying to create value for the world and, our local communities.
Sure.
So my question to you is, as an African child and as an African person, how do you find interacting with different people from different countries? Because as we all know, we live in the global village now.
Yeah.
How have your experiences been? Are people embracing Africanism and African products?
Yeah.
How have you experienced it?
I think for me, I always say this, that Africa has always been at the receiving end for the longest of time, the receiving end of the latest technology, the latest trend, the latest app, and so forth. Yet Africa is known to be a very diversified continent. I mean, South Africa alone, it's known to be a rainbow nation, a beautiful rainbow nation, 11 official languages, different ways of speaking, different ways of eating, different cultures, right? It's about time that we as Africans get together as a global village and really embody our uniqueness, embody our diversity, embody our cultures, but not only embody them, but incorporate them into value chains and ecosystems and products and services that we can export to the rest of the world. Gone are the days when we have to wait for Trevor Noah to be celebrated in New York for us to say, as Africa, that's our child. Gone are the days when Jerusalem by Master KG has to be played and advocated by Cristiano Ronaldo on a video and with a dance challenge for us to say that's our artist. We need to take what we have, and really embody it into our livelihood, embody it into our business value chains and ecosystem, and export it to the rest of the world. Because it's our time as Africa. There's a hashtag that goes on to in social that says Africa, our time is now, and it's really our time. So how are we embodying it on our day-to-day livelihood and then into our businesses? And we need to take all of that and export it to the rest of the world.
Fantastic. Do you feel that the success of Bathu is an example, or rather is outlines and showcases how Africans are happy to support African products as long as they are of a certain international standard?
100% to a degree, yes. Because end of the day, yes, like I've said, about embodying what Africa's about, our diversity, and I think the difference within Africa and the different cultures, but yet we still need to adhere to the right product quality, the right level of innovation and being different in that manner. So we need a fair balance between who we are as Africans and really producing products of great, quality. And yes, to your question, I believe that we as Bathu have done that fairly, and very well to balance our product quality and our story.
Fantastic. What type of leader do you describe yourself as?
I think I'm more than anything else. I've got an inclusive approach in my leadership. I'm very inclusive in the manner I do things, in our business as well, and many other things. So I've got an inclusive approach, and I'm very, very much approachable in whatever form or means.
Awesome. And finally, what do you find scary but fascinating about the future?
I think the fact that we have never been here before. In an era of a pandemic, so many things are changing. Innovation and technology is taking over, but no one has ever been here. Yet there's so many other opportunities, so you determine what that looks like for you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you so much, Theo.
Thank you
for joining us today. Read the pages to get more information on Theo's thoughts and views. We're really proud of him as our cover personality for the March edition. Thank you very much.